Hey everyone, this webinar by Ethan Nguyen, Jerry Liu, and Sebastian Cola on how to invest during a recession. So, what is a recession? And a recession is, for a definitive term, a recession is a general decline in economic activity. It is when people are typically losing money. And so, how often does this occur? On average, about 4 years. It lasts about 11 months. The last recession was about 2007 to 2009. And a key point to this is that recessions are known to be a time period where people typically lose money. And that's why it's key to understand how to invest during one. So in our slideshow here, we are going to go over a multitude of different things, different strategies that you can utilize to invest during a recession. These are just some of them that we go over. So precious metals, real estate, hold, recession-proof stocks, etc., raise cash, max your 401k contribution limit, invest in utility stocks. There are a multitude of different things you can do during a recession to invest. All right. So your investing strategy number one on our list was precious metals. And precious metals are gold, silver, these are precious metals. And during a time of recession where the stock market and the economy is bearish, it would be a wise choice to invest in these type of precious metals. And this is because that gold, silver, they don't lose money based on the stock market and how it fluctuates. In fact, it is the opposite. And the prices for these metals typically go up during a recession. So a good surefire way to keep your money from losing value is to invest in precious metals like gold and silver. Real estate, investing strategy number two. As time goes on, home values will decline. The mortgage rates are usually low because investors are worried about their money and they pile their investments into other things such as Treasury Bonds or safer stocks during these uncertain times. There will always be a steady demand for housing, real estate, because people will always need a house or a roof over their head, no matter what. So buying during market dips can result in high returns on capital in the long run. And physical assets will almost always recover, so your money will almost always be made back. And therefore, investing in real estate is a safe, almost surefire way to invest during a recession, pay off greatly in the long term. All right, so investing strategy number three, hold. And this means hold your stocks. Because during a recession, if you sell all your stocks, you're a guaranteed negative return. Once you're already down and you sell your stocks, you already lost that money and there's no way of getting it back. You have a negative return. So what you want to do is keep your good stocks, and your good stocks are going to be the Treasury Bonds, the least volatile stocks, the less riskier stocks, and sell the rest, the ones that are going to be very risky and volatile. That's because the market always recovers. This picture right here is a picture of the 10-year chart for the Dow Jones, and in 2007 to 2009 we had a recession, and as you can see here, even after the recession, the price still recovered and went back up. So you want to look at the long term when you're investing in stocks. So you want to hold your stocks. And as Warren Buffett once said, the stock market is just a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. Strategy number four, buy recession-proof stocks. So the two things on the screen are mutual funds and index funds. And the reason why you want to invest in these certain types of different funds is because they diversify your portfolio. So you have a less risk of losing money. So if you're going to invest in a mutual fund or index fund, your money is going to be split up into a multitude of different stocks, and typically your return will not be as low as if you just invested all in on a stock like Tesla. So investing strategy number 5, dividend stocks. So what are dividend stocks? These are stocks that distribute additional shares of a company's stock to its shareholders. So every quarter, every year, the company might give the shareholders of their stock extra shares, basically extra money for just having their shares. They're essentially paying you for being a stockholder in their company. And these are good to invest in during a recession because historically, dividend stocks have performed well during recessions. Coca-Cola, ExxonMobil, Verizon, even though in the 2017 recession, the economy was going down, these stocks still did fairly well for themselves. And you have a less chance of seeing negative returns when you invest in stocks such as these.
Okay, investment strategy number 6. Invest in yourself. So it's important that you pay any debt that you might have. It is a good idea to start by paying off your credit card that usually have the higher interest rates. After that, you can pay your loans, mortgage, auto loans, and student loans, for example. You never know if you could lose your job during a recession, so it's important that you pay all your debts beforehand. Always have a plan B in case you lose your job. So always have cash or an emergency saving in case this happens, for example. Plan to go back to school or gain some helpful skills. It is a good idea to add some knowledge during these times. So you could plan to do a master or study a new language or something you are just curious about it. You could also get a certification if you do not have one or you just want to have another one. All these ideas will help you to make your resume look more attractive if you lose your job or need to find a new one. Investment strategy number 7. Invest in US Treasury Bonds. So, Treasury bonds are a very attractive way of investing during a recession, mainly because they are bonds backed by the government, which are very low risk. You won't lose money in the long term, and you do not want to take any risk because you will need that money in the future. This is a really good option. These bonds can also include mortgage loans from the Federal Housing Association. Investment strategy number 8. Invest in utility stocks. Investing in utility stocks is almost risk-free. You won't have any significant return, but it is a good defensive option like Treasury bonds. Besides, there will always be a demand for electricity, and even more now with the increase in the use of the internet since everyone is working from home. This is a really good option for a long-term investment with low risk. Investment strategy number 9. 401k. So many people stop investing in their 401k during an economic recession, and this should be the opposite. When the stock market is going down, it's the best time to invest in your 401k. You should increase your contribution amounts because your investment can go further when stocks are going down. This is another long-term investment opportunity to take advantage during a recession. As Ethan said before, it's also a good idea to diversify your portfolio. So a good way to reduce your risk is not to put all your eggs in one basket. You should always do this, even when we are not in an economic recession. You should have your money diversified in bonds, stocks, real estate, and investment funds. A good way to do this is by following the investment risk pyramid that we have at the right of the slides. During a recession especially, you should have a good amount of your portfolio secure. So it's a good option to have 30 to 40% of your money in savings account, treasury securities, insurance, or cash. Then a 30% in government bonds fixed interest securities, investment-grade corporate bonds, for example. A 25% in blue-chip stocks, real estate investment, or royalty trust. And at the end, 5% of your money should go to speculative and emerging market stocks, some bonds, or options. This option is for a relative low-risk portfolio, but there are many different options depending on what risk you are willing to take. Investment strategy number 11, raise cash. So as we said before, always you should have cash. It will help you to calm down in these stressful situations. You should be prepared to live the next 6 to 12 months without any income. Having that amount of money will help you if you lose your job and you cannot find one quickly. Always after the economy recovers, you can reinvest that money.
So right now I want to talk about the best industries to invest in during a recession. So in recessions, normally certain industries do better than others and even prosper in hard times. In the following slides, we'll go over which industries are reliable to invest in during a recession, and we will talk about situational recessions like the one spurred about by COVID-19 and how that affects certain industries. Firstly, necessities will always reign supreme in hard times. Healthcare, utilities, and service repair industries will be fortified to an economic downturn. Sin industries that include the likes of tobacco, alcohol, and marijuana, and even chocolate, actually prosper in hard times as they become increasingly relied upon by the populace. Investing in stocks pertaining to these aforementioned sectors are a relatively surefire way to accumulate profit. So we can look at which industries to invest in from the viewpoint of elasticity. To define elasticity, one can say that it is the degree of change of price in response to a change in demand. As we have stated before, necessities are typically fortified in recessions simply because they do not change much in demand, whether it be changing in price due to a recession. One thing to note is that while it is true elasticity is also affected heavily by the amount of substitutes a product has, entire industries tend to be elastic, so we may disregard this reason. So, in relation to what stocks and industries we should invest in during a recession, we have to take into account multiple conditions of each individual recession. Take for example in this pandemic-induced recession, certain sectors are irreparably damaged, like the airline industries, which includes aeronautic innovation and manufacturing, which has been halted completely since the start of the epidemic. What was once a highly lucrative stock will be expected to take multiple quarters to rebound, and even Warren Buffett, a conservative investor, sold all of his stock pertaining to airlines, which is a testament to the long-run vitality of airline stock, or even airline engineering stock like Boeing. So, in this pandemic, a certain sector has bloomed, that being the biotech industry. Each and every day that a cure is mentioned in the news, biotech companies have soared in stock and are projected to peak in a few quarters. Some lessons we can take away from this particular recession is that while some industries tank particularly hard, it may not be the best bet to buy those stocks just because they are cheaper, because their rebound potential may take a very long time to realize in a recession. On the other hand, there are particular industries that skyrocket because they fulfill a dire need in response to a global issue. So if you're looking to invest in a recession, you would keep an eye out for these industries, like the biotech industry. So I'll leave it to Ethan to give us the conclusion. I think he actually left. So I'll just recap everything. How to invest in a recession. We should be always not panic, think long term, and always maintain cash, because we'll just assume that we'll have no income for many months. And we should take recessions as a good opportunity to increase your portfolio. Okay, thank you.